Salma, welcome to the mother of all talk shows. I was saying before you came on that I used to know the mayor of Gaza, a venerable old gentleman, and I used to stay in a guest house run by a very, very dignified lady called Miss Shawa. That's what we called her, Miss Shawa. That's probably a part of your extended family because it's a big family. But tell us a bit about how long your family has been in Gaza.
Hi, thank you for having me on your show. And yes, the Shawas are actually a very old family in Gaza, one of the oldest. And for me, as a Palestinian from Gaza, and also even more so as a Shawa from Gaza, it's so heartbreaking and traumatizing to see what my city is going through, how it's been demolished, and to think about our homes. Like, for example, my house, we've had 3 or 4 generations of Shawas live in it. It's around 120 years old. We don't know what is the state of our house because it's in the north of Gaza, and my mom and dad and brother had to go to the south because everything is getting bombed in Gaza. And it just breaks my heart to see all these ancient homes get destroyed, because those should really be protected historical artifacts. Like, that is Gaza's history, and those homes and the city is much, much older than the state of Israel. And seeing what's happening to my city and my people and my friends and family, and losing so many people in the past 50 days has just been insane. I never expected I would ever go through this, or my family.
Well, it has been, of course, unprecedented in scale and in quality, if I can use that word. More children have been killed than Herod ever dreamed of killing. More children have been killed in a shorter period of time than I think anywhere in any conflict. I cannot think of another conflict in which well over 5,000, and when you find the bodies that are under the rubble, that number will dramatically increase. I don't think any children have been killed in that scale, in those numbers, in such a short time ever in any conflict. Ditto the murder of women. And of course, men. We shouldn't forget men, who are the fathers, the husbands, the brothers, the sons of these women. It's been unprecedented in that sense, but of course, it's been the reality. I was taking convoys of aid into Gaza as long ago as 2008. This has been a siege accompanied by periodic massacre all of that time.
Yeah. Yes. And I keep thinking, I'm only 26 years old, and I keep thinking about how I have literally been doing this. I've been talking about Palestine and Gaza in particular since I was a child, since I was 11 years old in 2008, around the time when the blockade started. Israel bombed our high school. It was an American international school. It was providing a stellar education. And Israel saw it as a threat, so they bombed the entire thing, and it was never rebuilt because no one wanted to invest in a school that could get bombed, because that school was expensive to build and maintain. And that's how I learned English. And fast forward to now, to 2023, I see why Israel would bomb such a school. It's because they don't want Palestinians to be educated, but we keep proving to them time and time again that we will remain educated, and that we will be the agents in how this narrative is told. And I am just like all the other people in Gaza who are trying to tell their story on their phones, all these journalists that you're seeing. Some of them were in that school that was bombed in 2008. And did that stop us from advocating and from getting an education and from always representing our homeland? No, it didn't. And the proof is today. We're speaking up about the genocide, and it actually feels crazy that we've been doing this for so long. I'm only 26 years old, and I've been doing this ever since I could remember. And I have a feeling that we will still have to keep doing this to bring more awareness and pressure governments.
Now, what's your expectation? Biden has called on Netanyahu to extend the ceasefire. Abdel Bari Atwan was not at all confident that Netanyahu will accede to this request, and even by extension of the sincerity of Biden's request. What's the feeling in Gaza about that, do you think?
I honestly think that no one can predict what Israel will do next, whether they will give us more days of a ceasefire, whether they're going to say 4 days is enough. We've seen how barbaric they have been with us for 50 days, and they have broken every possible rule. They have done things that were beyond our expectation, even as people from Gaza, who all of us have experienced bombardments, and we've all lived under Israeli aggression time and time again. But this time, they have surpassed any boundary. Even doctors are not protected. No one is protected. Hospitals, churches, mosques, nothing is, they haven't left anything untouched. So people in Gaza don't know what's next. And we don't necessarily feel like we can buy into any empty words from any governments, including Biden's government for sure. So in that terms, I don't even have an answer. I don't know. I don't know what's next. I have no idea.
Now, where can people follow your content? What's the best way for people to support your work, Salma?
I post content very consistently on TikTok and Instagram, and my account name is Anat International. It's ANAT and then International. I'm sure you'll find it when you search, but that's how most people have been supporting my content and learning about Gaza and staying up to date with the news and what's going on there.
Now, my house is half full of Huda cosmetics, of which I had never heard before, and as goes without saying, none of these cosmetics are for me, but luckily I have 3 daughters and a wife. Huda Cosmetics, an Iraqi woman, her products have been victimized in many places because she has stood up for Palestine. Now, you have a fashion brand also called Anat International. Tell us about it.
So I started the brand a few years ago in Gaza, and it's a project that I started with my mother because she's very artsy and loves traditional Palestinian embroidery. So our idea was to work with denim factories in Gaza. And the textile industry in Gaza is very limited because of the blockade. So we worked with one of very few denim factories in the Strip, started producing denim jackets, and then we would take the plain denim jackets to an embroidery center and have women from Gaza embroider on the backs of the jackets, and we were selling them abroad. I currently live in Boston, so that helped a lot. My family would ship me the products and I would sell them to people in the US, in Europe. But because of what's happening in Gaza, the brand, we're not operating because for obvious reasons, there's no shipping and people are getting bombed. Everyone's displaced. As I said, because of the scale of the bombardments, I don't even know what happened to the factory owners. I haven't been able to get in touch with people that I know. Barely getting in touch with my parents. So it's been very tough on all of us.
Thank you for that. And of course, one prays that the factory will reopen and that we can all buy your denim jackets from Gaza. Salma Shawa, thanks for joining us.